All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd also like to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. And I would like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in 1/3. And Lord's will this lesson will be edifying, as well as exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. And Tawadi Bahashem, Yahushai, forgive me the inspiration to do this lesson. And as the title reads, Old Egyptian versus New Egyptian. And I came up with this this title, which is pertaining to Esau Edom's history. All right, within the war within himself. I actually was able to I was able to watch the movie Civil War last night, and just going through the history of the initial conflict that Esau Edom had within himself, which is biblical. Let's get Revelation 6 and 4. But one thing that I noticed is they're using the same playbook, okay? Because let me break this down to you. So I'll look up some information to share with you. But what I noticed was the North and the South, all right? I'm speaking about the first conflict, okay? The first civil, right? One thing that you notice is there was an advancement with one society and a lack of advancement into the new world of the other society. All right. So watch, I'm going to break it down, but this is what I'm seeing. I speak as a man, but this is what I'm seeing play out all over again. And they're using Jake as an excuse as before. So this is Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red. Okay. And horse represents power. All right. And it says red because Esau Edom came out red all over. All right. Like a hairy garment, meaning his blood was showing forth through his skin. All right. You could see the pigment, okay, of the blood. This is Genesis 25. And real quick, Genesis 25 and 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau or Ishashua, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but wasted away is he. So his skin color was wasted away, meaning he didn't have what they call today melanin. So what they saw was the blood running through his body and showing forth through his skin, and it was referred to like a hairy garment because we would use certain I believe, what do they call it, textiles, but basically skin from animals, and it would either be dyed red for the tabernacle, like let's put this in I don't want to say badger skin, but I believe, is it badger? Let me see. I don't believe it was badger. It's escaping my mind. Let's put let's put red and then let's put tabernacle. Just came to my mind. Just bear with me. I want to grab it real quick just for edification. So let's do it like this. Okay. Red skin for tabernacle. And let's see what pops up. I do know it's early on. Yep, there. Okay, it's ram skin. Excuse me. Exodus 26 and 14. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skin dyed red. See, I did see badger, and a covering above of badger skin. So right here, even in our history, we would use animals and their fur. Okay, there's a certain term that I can't remember right now, but this is why it says like a hairy garment, referring to the skin that was used of a covering. All right, and it was actually dyed red. So I just wanted to make that bring that out for edification, because it's been in the past believed that he was born a hairy baby, and no. Okay, so just get that out real quick. His name was Esau. This is why the red horse is referred to as red. Also in the movie Civil War, there was a scene where one of the main girls had a shirt that said Road to, but it didn't show you the bottom, but there was a black horse. So Road to right here, here's the black horse, and that's going to be going into ultimately famine and hyperinflation, okay, which I'll get that too. So I'm just it's kind of a movie review, but at the same time, it's what I perceived while watching that movie, following history, and also linking it up with prophecy, what we're seeing play out today. Okay, so I kind of want to stick on that. We do have camp, so I'm sure this information will come out again in a different form. So let me just stick at the task at hand for now. A lot of information. And there went out another horse representing power. That was red because Esau, Edom, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. So I'm just going to break this down chronologically, if you will, because we have a lot of new beloved believers, all right, brothers and sisters, okay, of the hopeful elect. So this information needs to be brought forth. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Why? Because power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, okay? So I'm breaking all this down, but there's one meat of the matter that I want out of this. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So like now, when Esau was given Babylon, it started off with 13 colonies, and they had to declare their independence from Britain. And they did that through what? Through war, right? And it says he covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he, right? And this is why one of the first and biggest things that we learn as Hebrew Israelites is the true color depiction of our Lord and Savior, of our forefathers, of our own heritage, which is found in the Bible, being so-called black and brown people. But during the Renaissance, which is also found in Revelations 20, he should be loose for a little season. This is why when he crept back into power after falling from rulership of the Western Roman Empire, he started going around with what you know as iconoclasm and knocking off noses and whitewashing images to portray himself as a people. Okay, this is why he covers the faces of the judges thereof. But going back to the initial point, see, there's a lot of information that we just can't skip over, even though this lesson is going into something a little more into now's time, but this is a lot of history that we have to bring up, all right, because he uses the same playbook. So, which makes sense why he could possibly use even so-called Project Bluebeam, because he wants to re-show himself as God again. But that's for another time. It says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. This is why he was able to get Babylon. So he was able to establish Babylon. Let's do this. Let's put Civil War map. All right. First, let's do this. 13 colonies. Okay, map. So first thing we want to do is we want to look. So when Esau first got over here, okay, when he first got over here, he was able to establish 13 colonies. All right, and 13 is specific. They actually reference that number to Lucifer, which Lucifer just means light bearer. But to them, Lucifer is their God, which ultimately is them just worshiping Satan, who Satan works for, our God, Yahweh Shemel Shai. So he's in a trick bag. All right. So when Esau first got over here with a charter, he established 13 colonies to unify himself, as a conglomerate. Okay. Which is funny because you have in Revelations 13, it goes into the 7 heads and the 10 horns. So as you can see, there's always been a spirit of Esau to band together in a certain number, all right, of a council, all right, and have an agreeable agenda. So like the new Edomites, the new Egyptians are the Edomites that want to bring in the new world order. And the old Egyptians are the Babylonian Edomites that just want to work, all right, have their kids, their families, and make money off the land. Well, this is the same thing that happened in the Civil War. Now, let me further explain, okay? So now you see the 13 colonies. Now you fast forward time after the Revolutionary War, which is also found in Daniel, the 7th chapter. Now let's put in Civil War map, just so we can break this down, okay? So now this is the map for the Civil War, okay? So meaning you had the North and the South. So when you had these territories, which a lot of these territories didn't get established until the American-Mexican War, because Texas was really only about this big, and Issachar still had California, all the way to Oregon, all the way to New Mexico. They had Arizona. We'll see, Arizona's not even on here yet. See, so there's a lot of history, a lot of good history, might I add. So then this is the small amount of the South that wasn't with the new world at this time. This is pre-Civil War, okay? So just like today, Civil War started back then because what was taking place was the North was advancing itself into the new world, and that was through the Industrial Revolution. So let's put this in North Union. How would we put that? North Union had industrial park. Let's just see what comes up. Yep. See, in industry and economy during Civil War. See, so a lot of times what they like to tell us was a Civil War was just based off ending slavery. No, the Civil War used slavery. They used slavery to as an excuse. They used slavery as an excuse to go to war, because if you didn't know, even the Rothschilds, they funded both sides of the war. The Babylonian Civil War was engineered by the Rothschild banking elite. See, so what the Civil War did was it gave Babylon back to the elites, because the South was becoming independent. It was basically allowing itself to become state and not federal. So we see this playing right now today, okay? So back then, while the North was advancing itself with technology, with industry, okay, with the economy, the South was happy, okay, with just having slaves, having land that their forefathers gave them, just like now, okay? So now watch. So let's go back. Revelation 6:4, and it says, and that they should kill one another. So Esau killed one another to establish Babylon against the independence against Britain. And then they further killed themselves in the Civil War, which really gave power to the federal government more than the state. So you got to see, when Esau first got here, he did have a lot of freedom. Okay, he had a lot of freedom, and that's what you see going on right now. You have Babylonians fighting against their federal government because they're in that old deep South way where they want, like, oh, it's fine, Jake, you're the slave, you're the worker. Okay, I own the land, you can work for me, but we don't really want to change anything. But the new Edomites, okay, they want to advance. They want the technology. They want the 15-minute city. They want the New World agenda. They want the mark. See? But these old Egyptians, they're stuck in their ways, just like the first Civil War. So what Esau is doing is he's using racism, okay? He's using wokeism. He's using these agendas to out Esau. This is why years ago there was not the Me Too, but cancel culture. Why you think so many Edomites were getting canceled? Let's go to cunning craftiness. We go to Genesis 25. Let's stick on Esau. Why were so many Edomites getting canceled on social media? Because the elite's agenda was to out Esau for his old down south ways that he's been allowed to do to Jake for hundreds of years. But now Esau started showing that, so the public or the woke people, the left, they can start having an avenue to say this is wrong. We need to knock down these old statues, because that's his way of using this avenue to fight against the opposing party, even though they're Edomites. Remember, it says they'll make war with one another, okay? Genesis 25:27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. So he's very cunning, okay? He used the first Civil War, he used slavery as an excuse, which all that did was transfer power from the person to the state, okay? Or federal, all right? State property. See, so the Civil War took freedom from the average Babylonian Edomite. All right. It took literally his independent power of his land and his resources and his workers. And now they had to turn that over to the state, which then had to turn that over to the federal aspect. Like now, you can't do gig work. You can't go out and just be an Uber. You can't just go out and get your own crops without having to go through the state. So Esau is taking the independence away from the average Edomite citizen here in spiritual Egypt or here in the virgin daughter Babylon. The elites are cutting off the freedom from their hard-working Edomite cohort that isn't on the level of the elites, but just the average worker, like the down south Edomites back in that day. They're taken away from their crops. They're taken away from their private labor. They're taken away from their pa's home. Okay? So this caused the Civil War. And then in the movie, I was watching the movie Civil War. There's a reason why the Edomite, he said, what kind of American are you? Are you a Central American? Are you a South American? What? And he said, I'm from Florida. So he said, oh, Central America. See, because going back to the map, all right. See, Central America, because if you were to look at North and South America, this is Central. See, but this is their America, going back to the 13 colonies. But that's that old Edomite mindset. There's a new Edomite, new Egyptian agenda, okay? New world order. And the old Edomites, they don't want it. So Esau's using the same tactics, slavery, wokeism, equal rights. He's using that to infringe on the old Egyptian Edomites' lifestyle and ways to cancel that so he can bring in a new world order. Remember when he got here, didn't he say this was the new world? Okay, but these old Edomites, they got X'd out quickly. You have to understand, not that I'm saying it wasn't, but the northern Edomites, they used a lot of propaganda against the southern Edomites of how slavery was taboo. Even though they still were enslaving Jacob here, they had an agenda against this land, okay? And they needed to advance their agenda, and they did it. And they're attempting to do it again, okay? And in a movie, they showed you Texas and California, which Texas and California were acquired just before the original Civil War. So there's a lot of just great information. So let's just keep going. All right. So Revelation 6:4 says, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, which ultimately that great sword is going to be showcased in the Third World War. Okay. And that's prophesied. Remember, because they shall make war with one another. So there's a lot of things that are happening. Okay. So with Esau being this cunning hunter, he knows how to draw you out in the war. This is why it says the least of the flock is going to draw them out. Okay. So this civil war that's coming, which is prophecy. Let's get Isaiah 19. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 19 and 19. A lot of information came out. Isaiah 19 and 19. And let's also precept that with Revelations 11, so you understand why I'm referring to the Edomites also as well as the Egyptians. But if you take a look in history, in Daniel, the 7th chapter, when it reads about had a leopard's head, that's referring to the Greek Empire. And under the Greek Empire, you had a Greek general by the name of Ptolemy, which there were many of him, but under the Ptolemy reign, he occupied Egypt. So Esau in history actually was the Egyptians as well, depending on the time period you're looking at it. So when you watch a movie based on Egyptians and they're showing you Edomites, you can't always say that that's incorrect. We just need to know, well, what time period is this in? Oh, if it's with Moses, no, you're in the wrong time period. You gotta go up a little more. So now, let me get this why we know them as refer to Esau's Egyptians as well. Revelations 11 and 8, and their dead bodies, right? We were dead during slavery. Okay, we were dead. All right, spiritually dead. He that wandereth away out of the congregation of understanding, or he that wandereth his way. Let me grab it. Proverbs 21. All right, and 16. Proverbs 21 and 16, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding, which is Jeremiah 17 and 4, we shall be cut off from our heritage, shall remain in the congregation of the dead, not knowing who we are. Hence why John saw in the future his people's dead bodies lying in the street of a great city. And that great city is Babylon. That great city is Egypt, Nineveh. Okay, it says, and their Israelites and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually, see, it's spiritual, which spiritually is called Sodom. And we see why it's called Sodom. Okay, and he even showed you that during the time of buck breaking. Okay, they had the same spirit those wicked Hamites had pertaining to when the Lord's angels were sent to survey the land and see the wickedness. They said, let him come out so we may know him. Well, Esau introduced that spirit right here in Babylon with each other, because that was also known during, I believe it was the Civil War, but we can look it up. But the Esau did things to himself back then, okay, even with Jake, and even now passing laws, right? Fast forward to today. Look, and Egypt, why? Because of our bondage, okay? So during the time of the first Civil War, which was April 12th, 1861, then they released this movie, April 12th, 2024. So that was 162 years from the legitimate, literal Civil War. They had a movie called Civil War come out on the same day. So it's pre-programming, right? Same playbook, same agenda. You got poor white people right now feeling like the Deep South, and they're getting cornered right now against the new Edomites, the new Egyptians that are a new woke world, industrial tech. It's the same thing that was going on back then. Look it up. It's the same thing that was going on, man. Okay. The North was more advanced. All right. I just want to see, it says in 1860, the South was still predominantly agricultural, highly dependent upon sale of staple to a world market. By 1850, cotton was the most valuable export in the United States. Fast forward, look, it was worth by 1840, it was worth more than all other exports combined. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. The North, by contrast, was well on its way towards a commercial and manufacturing economy. See? So during the first Civil War, the South wasn't as advanced when it came to commerce, the commercial and economic aspect of Babylon, as the North was. So the old way is getting phased out. The old Egyptians are getting phased out, like back then, like now. So what did Esau use as an excuse to wage war on the old Egyptian way? They used wokeism. They used equal rights. They used Jake as an excuse to say, we need to go and we need to help them. But all it was a plan by the elites to advance their agenda, like right now. So this new war, which is going to be Egyptian versus Egyptian, okay, which the new war is with Egyptian versus Egyptian. Why we had to get this precept, where also our Lord was crucified, meaning crossed out, X'd out. All right. So this new Civil War is going off the same playbook, because in the movie going back, the Edomites were doing a cleansing. Okay. They were going, and not every state was involved, just like the Civil War. All right. Not every state was involved. So in the movie, they showed you the old Egyptian Edomites, like the Deep South ones. They were taking anyone out that wasn't a Babylonian. He said, well, what kind of American are you? He said, I'm Central American. And they almost took his ass out. The dude said, what are you? He said, I'm Chinese. Bam. He said, what are you? He said, I'm from Hong Kong. Bam. Then he looked at the so-called white woman. He said, what about you? She said, I'm from Colorado. He said, see, that's what I'm talking about. American. See, so Esau's being cornered. That old patriotic, stand up for your country, I pledge allegiance, Edomites, they're being phased out. This is why Trump is their last hope of solitude, something to hang on to give themselves this right back to their independent freedom. But the new Edomite, the new Egyptians, okay, the new world order, they have a whole different plan. This is why this prophecy's right here. Revelations 19:2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And let me say this, when these Egyptians fully get set against themselves, we're talking states here, okay? Where's the one I want? Right here. Look at this. So in the movie, what it showed you was this entire state seceded from the rest of Babylon. So that means every single military, naval, marine, nuclear base that they have in this state, that means they have that weaponry. And now California doesn't have any third world capability, but they have military bases, naval bases, Air Force bases, Marine bases. So when California cut itself off in the movie from the rest of Babylon, they had every type of military artillery that you would need. So they were able to conquer other states because they didn't just have Ma and Pa's shotgun. This movie, Civil War, it showed you that not only is it going to be an Egyptian versus Egyptian, but it's going to be state against state, city against city. And whatever that city or that state possesses, now it can use that to defend or advance itself in war to conquer and take over other things. And they marched themselves all the way over here to DC to take over the house. Okay, so understand, when the Egyptian versus Egyptian happens, it ain't just going to be fighting over, the gas station. It's going to be fighting over livelihood, fighting over land, fighting over dominance and advancements, getting town halls and Senate buildings, and they're going to have the right weaponry. Okay, so the movie Civil War was beautiful because once the elite got Esau to fight against himself, they went to war. Remember, the red horse, it says they shall kill one another. They went at it, all right? And they had the abilities of what was in that state to use while they were going to war. So it ain't just going to be pistol popping and shotgun shooting. They're going to be military soldier Edomites, It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, just like that's the first Civil War. See? And then now you have the advancement in the movie showcased in the next Civil War. But understand this, when that war took place, these states were against one another. It wasn't just a city or town fighting another town. They were states against states. All right. Now, real quick. Shalom, brother. Tawada. Matthew, red letter, Matthews 12:25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself shall be brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So right now, you have old Egyptians versus new Egyptians. Like you had the old deep south versus the new North America. Okay. So you can see how that's playing out right now. You have a new woke society that is canceling what? The traditional Edomite. This is the agenda of the elites. The agenda of the elites is to cancel that old Babylonian way. Okay. The Rothschilds use a divide and conquer strategy to take back Babylon by creating conflict between the North and the South. See? So right now, how are they taking over Babylon? By outing the establishment of Esau's rulership when he got over here. Oh, now racism's taboo. Now we need wokeism. Now we need black women in office. Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, this is how Esau's taking Babylon over and Xing out the old Edomite. AOC, let's put her in. Boom. I think she's Spanish. Boom. Now she's in Congress. Let's keep going. This is how he's canceling Esau. Black. Let's just put black spokeswoman. Real quick, I gotta wrap this up. Boom. Okay, not her. Oh, there you go. Look at this shit. This is how Esau is taking the deep south away again. This is the new Egyptians taking away the old Egyptians by replacing the old Egyptians with wokeism, black women, black men, Mo's, Mo rights, wokeism, Me Too movement, cancel culture. This is what he's doing. Okay. This is how he's canceling. And this is what's causing a disruption. Okay. This is what's causing the division right now. All right. He's using the oppressed as a mascot for a new future. And that's canceling that deep South spirit that Esau's been trying to hold on to, that patriotic spirit. This is why it's going to be Egyptian versus Egyptian, because they're fighting to keep land that's being overtaken politically. All right. It's fire, man. When that movie's fire. So red state, blue, let's put verse blue state 2020. See? Okay. You see? So what? Red is Democrat. Or excuse me, red is Republican, blue is Democrat. So I think Trump, what is Trump? Trump's a Republican. So red and blue, see? You see? Let's put this in now. Which it's all the same feather. Okay, but look, see, so different red and blue looks like red's taking over, blue's being outed, or blue's taking over and red's being outed. See, this is just like the North versus the South all over again, but it's all the same agenda. The North was to be a Britain colony annexed to Canada under the control of Lionel Rothschild. The South was to be a French colony given to Napoleon III of France under the control of James Rothschild. Then Abraham popped up into the Senate and wanted to bring a greenback. They took his ass out like, nope, we're going to do money this way. That's why we got the Federal Reserve Act. We're on the Jekyll Island. So there's so much history that who's really running the show. And at the end of it, the low level, regular, down south, patriotic, ma and pa Edomites are being exiled. They're forcing their back against the wall. So now they have to fight to regain control of a country that was given to them for a short period of time. This is why this prophecy is going to be on and popping. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. See, state against state, city against city, Virginia versus Pennsylvania, Texas versus everyone. Remember this that came out a while ago? Texas versus everyone. Look, versus everybody. See? Texas versus everybody. This is spiritual. This came out a few years ago. All right, look, Houston versus everybody. See? That's civil war, man. All right, so I got to get ready to wrap it up. I pray I hit all my points. I will go into this more out on Ratazah camp because there's just so much beautiful information to touch on. But it's the same playbook. So what you're seeing is the old Egyptians, which is basically that deep south spirit. They don't care about Jake's condition. I'm getting mine. You can work for me. And then that new Edomite Egyptian, which is for the New World Order. They're down for the jump shot. They're down for the MARK. They're down for the advancements of economy and technology and 15-minute city. So that's going to putting them at odds with one another. Also, while the one economy is boosting over here, but the economy down here is not doing so well. So there's a lot of trouble and turmoil within Babylon, and the elites are using these situations to make these people war against themselves, ultimately so he can take over it all, which you're going to see more things happening with the third woe, with the mark. So it's a beautiful thing. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to say, call halal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said, shalom.